We've made very clear what our red lines are, what things we're willing to accommodate them on, and what things we're not willing to accommodate them on. Get to a situation where the Iranians were willing to accept our terms.
The world is at a critical threshold where diplomacy has collapsed, giving way to an era of unprecedented global confrontation. After 21 hours of exhaustive negotiations in Pakistan that ended without any agreement, the United States made the drastic decision to completely block the Strait of Hormuz. This measure aims to put an end to Tehran's arbitrary hegemony over the vital artery through which 20% of the world's oil flows. Starting at 10 a.m. on April 13th, Washington decreed that any vessel, regardless of flag, would be subject to inspection, capturing Iran's most important asset. More than 50,000 U.S. troops are now on high alert across the Middle East, with the deployment likely to reach 100,000 men. The USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier strike group has established an impenetrable umbrella of F-35 and F/A-18 fighters, while C-17 transport planes and C-135 tankers saturate the skies over the region. This move was precipitated when the destroyers USS Frank E. Peterson Jr. and USS Michael Murphy forced their way into the dangerous waters of Hormuz on April 11th, defying Iranian warnings of immediate withdrawal. Iran's response to this incursion was a ruthless escalation, using its Houthi proxies to attack merchant ships in the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, trying to disperse American attention. However, the real danger lies in the Revolutionary Guard's doctrine of naval guerrilla warfare, which uses more than 800 speedboats equipped with missiles and rocket launchers to saturate enemy defenses. Below the surface, the strait has become a field of floating mines, many of which have lost control and now drift with the currents, creating a lethal labyrinth for any steel hull. Trump, in announcing the Out-Blockade doctrine, made it clear that the U.S. will control who comes in and out, choking off 70% of Iran's oil exports if Tehran does not cooperate. To counter this threat, the Pentagon has sent the legendary A-10 Warthog, whose 30mm GAU-8 cannons are the only weapons capable of tearing Iranian speedboats apart in the blink of an eye. In addition, B-52 and B-1 Lancer bombers crossed continents, loaded with smart bombs capable of destroying the underground missile bunkers carved into the Iranian mountains. At sea, autonomous underwater drones like the knife fish are waging a silent war to clear the way for the giant oil tankers. This crisis has severe global ramifications. With oil surpassing $180, China's economy is at risk. Beijing imports 20% of its crude from Iran, using the yuan to avoid the SWIFT system, but is now forced to trade through the American banking system, which could collapse its de-dollarization strategy. If China sends an oil tanker to break the blockade, the world will face a casus belli that could redefine the next century. We stand at a threshold where every second counts. Will the American steel wall manage to subdue the Tehran regime and neutralize the Chinese threat without firing a single shot? Or will Iranian drift mines and drone swarms drag the world into an economic apocalypse? The Strait of Hormuz is no longer just a geographical channel. It is the point where the map of global power will be redrawn for the next century.